It was a tough one last night in a close pennant race at the Big A. After a nice comeback to tie up the Halos in the 6th inning, the Athletics were shut down by the Angels bullpen. After some controversy that disrupted the A's relievers, Howie Kendrick delivered a 10th inning walk-off sacrifice fly as the Angels took Game 1 of the series. Tonight, these two teams are back at it, and it is a marquee pitching matchup on the mound. Big John Lester and Jared Weaver square off as the AL West is on the line. It's the American League's top two teams going head-to-head. Game 2 of the 4-game series. A's, Angels, next. Friday Night Baseball from Angels Stadium of Anaheim as it's Game 2 of this series. And with 29 games left in the regular season, the Athletics trail the Angels by 2 games in the AL West. It's Weaver and Lester tonight. Should be a good one. He's trying to bounce back after an extra inning loss last night. So Game 2 of the series, it's the Athletics and the Angels coming up on Comcast Sportsnet, California. Hi again, everybody. Welcome to Oakland A's Baseball. Along with Ray Fosse, I'm Glenn Kuiper. John Lester tonight. He'll be making his 6th start with the Athletics. And Ray, I think we said it a couple times now. Games like this where you need a win, that's why the A's got John Lester.
You do not want to have long losing streaks, and this is the type of pitcher you want to go to the mound. John Lester, a big game pitcher. And he pitched well against the Angels his last start last Saturday at the Coliseum. You see the strikeouts, using the cut fastball, the sneaky fastball, occasional breaking ball, using both sides of the plate. He did exactly what he wanted to do, and the A's, that is to allow just 1 run in 7 innings. The A's would win it in the 8th inning, but he is a big game pitcher. He has 4 wins against the Angels tonight. He'd like to make it 5.
All right, and Jared Weaver will pitch for the Angels. He's looking for his 15th win of the year, and Ray, he beat the A's on Sunday at the Coliseum.
He does not throw hard, Kuiper, as we all know, but he knows how to pitch. He will use both sides of the plate, but what you're going to see is several curveballs, very slow type curveballs, almost tantalizing to the point that the A's hitters could not make contact. This is one right there to Brandon Moss, very slowly thrown, but it seems to have a great bite to it. Hitters cannot pick up the ball, and as a result, he usually pitches deep in the ball game. Very, very good pitcher for both of them.
All right, so another good atmosphere tonight at the Big A. It's Game 2 of this big 4-game series, and the A's indeed need a win tonight over the Angels. When we come back, we'll have lineups and first pitch from the ballpark, so stick around. A's Angels coming up. here in Anaheim. It'll be another big crowd for game 2 of this 4-game series between the Athletics and the Angels. Just as we come back, the Angels take the field, and the game time weather for tonight presented by the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. Get to the beach. The admission-free boardwalk is open daily. It's 80 degrees, so it has cooled off some after another very warm, humid day in Southern California, but turning out to be a very nice night for baseball, and we're looking forward to what should be another terrific matchup between two teams with the 2 best records in all of baseball, the Athletics and the Angels. And the Angels going back in time a little bit tonight. They're wearing uniforms, kind of honoring the decade of the 1970s. So a little different look for them, not a lot different. Let's look at the lineup tonight for the Oakland A's. Coco Crisp in center, Sam Fuld in left, and Josh Donaldson at third. Stephen Vogt back in there, he's at first. Moss will DH, Reddick in right, Norris the catcher, Callaspo at second, Sogard is the shortstop.
Veteran right-hander Jared Weaver on the mound for the Angels. He won last Sunday, the only win of the Angels in the weekend series. And as we showed in our open, he knows how to pitch. He knows how to utilize a fastball that probably does not top out at about 89, but mixes his pitches well. Good curveball and a lot of arms and legs thrown across his body. Makes it difficult to pick up the ball.
Behind Weaver tonight, the Angels defense looks like this. Hamilton in left, Trout in center, Calhoun in right. It's Beckham and Ibar on the left side, Kendrick and Pujols on the right side. Iannetta is the catcher. In fact, it's the same defensive lineman, and it's the same lineup for the Angels tonight. So Weaver has finished up the warm-up tosses, and we are set to go. Angels won last night 4-3 in 10 innings to extend their lead over the A's in the West to 2 games. So for the A's, 2 back with 29 games to play. And one of the reasons the Angels are in first place, well, that's it right there. Since August 10th, Angels have gone 12-5. A's have gone 6-11. We'll do the math. So that's a 6-game swing in the standings. A's led by 4. Now they're down by 2. So the Angels got hot when the A's cooled off, and that's usually how movement is made in the standings. So we're underway. Coco Crisp steps in, 255, 9 homers, 45 RBIs. A couple of hits last night for Coco Crisp and an RBI. Hits this one on the ground. Knocked down by Kendrick. Throws to first, 1 out.
And Jared Weaver last Sunday was the beneficiary of 9 runs early, and helped him, of course, to pitch as well as he did. But one thing he did not do is change his game plan. He continued to throw his normal way, and that is a lot of off-speed pitches. The A's would like to, with John Lester tonight, prevent that from happening, as it was not a particularly great afternoon or evening for Scott Kazmir in that game.
First pitch to Sam Fuld is outside. Your combined numbers for Fuld overall, hitting 260, and he takes a strike. So the A's 78-55, and they're 35-32 on the road. Within the division, the A's are 31-23. In Ray, he's got to win 3 in a row to avoid a non-winning month for the first time since May of 2012. They've had 14 consecutive winning months, but they're 12-14 in August. Fuld hits one high in the air to right center. Hangs up there for Calhoun, 2 outs.
Here's a nice Nissan keys to the game. Big game pitchers definitely, and who will step up, and as we've said in this series, who makes the first mistake. 3 games left in the series. Of course, plenty of time, as this is game 134 for the Athletics. Plenty of time runs out quickly. John Lester is the pitcher for the Athletics tonight, and definitely a veteran that the A's acquired from the Boston Red Sox for games like tonight.
Yeah, there's a lot of different ways to look at tonight's game. Of course, it's just game 2 of a 4-game series. So, yeah, there is time. But then you know what? You don't want to have a Gray start and a Lester start back to back and not win either of them.
That's right.
I mean, there's a lot of different ways that you look at these things.
And that is one of the biggest, because the A's are built on pitching.
Yep.
And especially to acquire Lester to help a rotation that was already good. They'd already acquired Samardzija there, and Hamill, who pitched well in his last start against the Astros. Sonny Gray, of course, taking over the #1 slot with Parker and Griffin on the disabled list to start the season.
A foul tip on an off-speed pitch, 1-2 to Donaldson, 255. Hit home run number 26 last night down the left field line. He's got 88 RBIs. Also had a double last night.
I think everybody's hoping, A's included, that the bad week, Kansas City and Atlanta, was the bad week and pick it up for the rest of the season.
Weaver falls down.
Well, he did that in Texas last year and went on the disabled list with a non-throwing arm fracture. I think fractured his left elbow. I'm sure Mike Butcher and his left foot, of course, thrown across his body, but left foot did not grab the turf or the dirt and did fall down. It's Mike Butcher, the pitching coach, saying, please don't get hurt.
No. Don't need any more injuries. Fastball outside corner. Donaldson knew it. So Weaver has a good first inning. 3 up, 3 down with a strikeout. Angels come to bat in the bottom of the first. Bottom of the first. A's went quietly in the top of the first. So here come the Angels. And here's their lineup. Same as last night. Calhoun, Trout, Pujols, Hamilton, Kendrick, Freese, Ibar, Iannetta, and Beckham.
John Lester looking for win number 5 against the Angels in his career, 4-2. But for the Athletics, looking for win number 4, 13-8 on the season, combined with Boston and the Athletics. And for the A's, he was acquired again for these types of games. We'll see how he performs tonight. Good cut fastball, spots his fastball, and as he normally does, works out of the stretch in between innings when he takes his warm-up tosses, but pitches out of the windup extremely well with nobody on base.
So Cole Calhoun digs in. Calhoun hitless last night, 0 for 5. Struck out a couple of times. And Lester's first pitch shows bunt, takes a strike. Lester on the season is 5th in the league in ERA. He's 6th in the league in innings pitched, and he's 6th in the league in strikeouts. 177 innings pitched. and 181 strikeouts. And there's a line drive toward left, but Fold is there, and he's got it. So 1 out in the bottom of the first. Defensively for the A's, you saw Fold in left, Crisp is in center with Reddick in right, and it's Donaldson, Sogard, Callaspo, Vogt on the infield, and Derek Norris is your catcher. So 1 away for Mike Trout. A bit more on the season for John Lester. Tied for 6th in the league in wins with 13. And only 11 home runs allowed. So just a kind of a typical John Lester season. That's how good he is.
What happens also, Cap, and both these pitchers tonight for Phil Cuzzy, he's going to call his normal game, but it's a reputation part of the game where you have two pitchers who are around the plate, know how to pitch and throw quality strikes, as that first one was to first two actually to Mike Trout. So I think these are nights that umpires really enjoy. Two veteran pitchers are going to be around the plate. Last night, this pitch about another 3 feet higher was a strike. Tonight, the low strike is there. Difference in the umpires. Last night, Greg Gibson.
A 1 and 2 to Trout, hitting .291 with 30 homers and 94 RBIs. He was 1 for 4 last night with a walk and a run scored. Pujols to follow here in the bottom of the first.
Derek Norris caught John Lester's first game. Derek Norris has caught every game that Lester has been on the mound, and perhaps the reason last night Derek Norris was a designated hitter was Soto catching Sonny Gray for the first time.
A line drive, and it's grabbed by Callaspo.
The glove was just big enough. Well, it's not very big when you play second, but Callaspo with a hard shot. This ball was smoked by Trout. He's a very good low ball hitter, and he showed it with that fastball down, and Callaspo timed his leap perfectly. That's right. Look how small that glove is, too. Got a little extra padding on his left index finger, batting glove, and well, if you have that kind of that small of a glove, you're just using it. They've basically a little bit of a sounding board with a ball that's thrown from the left side to turn a double play.
2 outs for Pujols, down and away.
The first 2 balls have been hit very hard off of Lester. One to left and one that Trout just hit.
Pujols .276, 23 home runs, 81 RBIs. Scored the winning run last night. .515 career home runs for Albert Pujols. Rolls that one foul back behind home plate. Angels are 80 and 53, and their record within the division is 30 and 22. Terrific home record, 44 and 24. So their records in different categories are very similar to the Athletics. Line drive, right field. Reddick charges. Reddick may throw to first. He will, but Pujols is going to beat it out. Pujols not happy with Reddick at all.
And run hard, you don't have to worry about it. And, Bautista threw out Billy Butler in Toronto twice in the same game on base hits to right field, but this one hit hard. And playing shallow was Reddick. He said, I've always wanted to do this. I want to do it sometime. And no, that's a good play. Just, it's like the shift. You hit a ball into the shift, the guy in the outfield, and you have to run hard. And Pujols knows himself that he has to run hard, and he beats it out.
So a 2-out hit. And here's Josh Hamilton. Hamilton takes low from Lester. 268 with 10 homers, 44 RBIs. Hamilton last night was 2 for 5 with a run score. Swing and a miss as Lester. Very slow breaking ball. There's the breakdown comparison. Runs very similar. Home runs fairly close. Top 5 in ERA. Top 2 in run differential. So lots of similarities between these two teams when you throw out the numbers. So Lester ahead in the count 1-2.
And he threw a good curveball, had Hamilton way out in front. And of course, it's a pitch that Hamilton has not been able to hit very effectively, especially against a left-hander. Not one that you worry about hanging on the inside part of the plate, start at the middle of the plate and break away and try to get him to react on what he thinks is a fastball.
Pull short lead at first. And Hamilton down the right field line. Reddick on the move, and Reddick's not going to get it. He'll play it on a hop. Hamilton digging for second. He'll make it. Pujols will stop at third. So Hamilton doubles down the right field line.
Boy, he left this one exactly where Hamilton could handle it, inner part of the plate.
He just waited just a little bit.
And it's all about the location of the pitch. Inner half of the plate, he's able to do exactly what he did. And that's a fortunate thing, but see the spin of the breaking ball, but look where it ends up for Hamilton, right in his hitting zone. You can almost just throw every pitch a breaking ball, try to get him to chase one down the strike zone.
So here's Kendrick. Kendrick takes a fastball called a strike. Kendrick doesn't like the call.
Well, looks like Mr. Fuzzy strike zone is very pitcher friendly, left and or north and south, as they say, not east and west. Although Sosha saw it happen last night in the first inning with Greg Gibson, two of his power hitters.
Kendrick 281, 5 home runs, 56 RBIs. He had a couple of hits last night, and of course the game-winning sacrifice fly. Fouled at the plate, maybe off the foot of Kendrick. Pretty good at bat by Kendrick in the 10th inning last night.
This is what you do with the runner at third, less than 2 outs. You stay closed. He did, and hit the ball deep enough to right field to get the game winner.
And the pitch he hit, it was really inside.
Yep. And he inside outs the ball very well, which he did on that one.
One-two pitch is popped up. Vogt under it in foul territory. He's got it side retired. So a couple of hits, but both runners stranded, and we're on to the second. No score. By the Oakland Raiders. Season and single game tickets on sale now. Call 1-800-RAIDERS or visit Raiders.com today. It's the Big A. Angel Stadium of Anaheim. No score, top of the second inning. Albert Pujols not happy with Josh Reddick. But I would imagine he'll move past it. Vogt, Moss, and Reddick here in the second inning. One and one the count. Vogt 311, 9 homers, 32 RBIs. Pinch hit last night in a big at bat with the bases loaded and he struck out.
Had some good swings on the off-speed pitches until he swung at a pitch out of the strike zone like that one. But I think what the guys are really remembering from Jared Weaver throughout the time, he's lost a couple of times the Athletics this year, but this is what he does. You get a fastball count. If he throws a fastball, it's not going to be really in a location where you can hit it. It's kind of a waste pitch, and then goes back to the pitches he's very comfortable in throwing. Curveball, changeup, sliders, cutters, finesse. Not too many right-handed finesse pitchers, but he is that category.
Here's the breakdown of the A's against Weaver. That great run. High in the air. Trout over toward left center field. Well, it's that time of night right now. It's a bit tough to see the baseball. I know it is from up here in the booth. So remember, he had that real good stretch against the A's where the A's just had trouble doing much of anything on him. But this season, he knocked him around a couple times early in the year. June 1st and June 11th. One in Oakland, one here. But then he did bounce back, pitched pretty well last Sunday in the nationally televised game. Overall, Weaver looking for his 15th win of the year, so 14-7.
That was a back-to-back slow curveballs, and in this, what hitters might be thinking fastball count. If he throws a fastball, it's not a true fastball. Tops out about 89, so it's not going to be hard anyway.
And it drops in for a strike, so the count 2-1. Weaver, he throws lots of changeups and lots of curveballs. And it's kind of a big curve. And it's just a little bit of a funky delivery, and that makes his pitches even more effective. 51% fastballs, that's really not a very high number. So 2-2 to Moss. Strike three called. He went back to the changeup and it grabbed the outside corner. Second strikeout for Weaver.
To 2-0 and comes right back with it again. Here's the delivery, and it looks like it's coming out of his hand like a fastball. And we talked about left-handed pitchers sitting back, looking for something off speed, going opposite field with a fastball. Weaver, you have to do it also. And his reputation, as many times as he's pitched against the A's, he's never really changed, deviated from anything that he has done against them. I mean, I'd even hate to take batting practice against him because you never get anything good to hit.
It'd drive you crazy.
Yeah.
Reddick toward Trout. And Trout's got it. Side, retired. So 6 up, 6 down for Weaver. And we're headed to the bottom of the second. It'll be Freeze, Ibar, and Iannetta. No score.
Sunday home game. Veterans, active duty, and first responder personnel can purchase tickets at a discounted price. They receive $7 off Plaza level tickets, $5 off Plaza reserve tickets to all 13 Sunday home games. Visit athletics.com/military for more information and tickets. From this Sunday, Astros in town at the Coliseum. Back home Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday against the Mariners. Off Thursday, Astros. So the next GovX Sunday, a week from Sunday.
So David Freese to lead it off. Freese takes the strike. Ibar to follow. Iannetta, no score, bottom of the second inning. Angels had second and third with 2 outs in the first, could not score. And now it's 0-2. Two pitches in the dirt. So they're making an announcement in-house to the media about the play last night. But since the obstruction was on Moss, that he gets the air, which continues to be somewhat comical. But this is the play that was quite the interesting call, and I don't know. I don't even know what to say about it.
Well, all I can say, Moss, he's on the grass. Now, how could you obstruct somebody if you're on the grass and you're supposed to be running on the dirt in your lane for running? I don't think I ever saw Moss on the dirt. Did you?
Nope.
So how can you say it's obstruction? That means the runner is obstructed because he's running on the grass out of the baseline. So I guess you could say they want to look at it, and they changed even everything about it from interference to obstruction and said there's no protest at such and such a rule. So it's a bad call. They just, they're going to justify their call. It's a done deal, and protest was dropped by the A's. And they go forward.
So 0-1 to Ibar. Now the obstruction rule reads like this: the act of a fielder who, while not in possession of the ball and not in the act of fielding, impedes the progress of a runner. So obviously Moss was not in possession of the ball, but he was in the act of fielding it. He just wasn't the guy who ended up fielding it
on the grass.
So that to me, and on social media today, the umpires said we looked at it and we came to a consensus that we got the right call.
Why then did he veer off to go after Otero when he caught the ball and never came close to Moss? Or why didn't he go to the outside and run in the base path to try to avoid? I mean, bottom line, he made the smart play. He went, tried to make contact, and see if he could get the call, and he got it.
I think the bottom line, the double bottom line, Ray, is that it was a really bad call. And the umpires can say that their consensus was they got it right, and I am not buying it. And I know a lot of people aren't buying it. Now, the game was under protest by the A's, but the A's dropped that protest. In fact, the A's sent out a statement. It said, after further consideration, as well as conversations with the commissioner's office, the A's have decided to drop the protest from last night's game. We have determined that, as stated after the game by the crew chief, Jerry Davis, the call in question was a judgment call and not worthy of pursuing further, as they're going to vote on the transfer to drop the ball. So they're going to call Ibar out.
Donaldson cutting in front of Sogard. Good play there because he made the spin, picked up this target, made a strong throw, and there's the catch. Ibar jumping to the bag, was out, even though he thought it was safe.
So that's the second out, and here's Iannetta. So I think, Ray, once we all came to the realization that the call in question was a judgment call, well, then you got no shot.
Exactly.
Because a judgment call, it's no different than a ball and a strike. And that's going to be the fallback for the umpire that it was a judgment call. So A's ended up losing the game, not in that inning. You should remember that. In the air towards Sam Fuld. And he's got it. Side retired. So a 3-up, 3-down inning for Lester. No scores. We head to the top of the third. California is brought to you by Prism. Now your team can collaborate at a whole new level with video walls from Prism. Learn how at prism.com. Third inning, no score. Jared Weaver has retired the first 6 that he has faced with a couple of strikeouts. So it'll be Norris, Callaspo, and Sogard. Norris 270, 10 homers, 49 RBIs. He's 0 for his last 13. So we think he's due for a hot stretch. That's the way we're going to look at this, right?
Well, he definitely is due. He's getting a chance to play a lot with John Jaso on the disabled list. Hope he is getting better with the concussion symptoms. Stephen Vogt can't really catch because of a plantar fasciitis. And Giovanni Soto, new to the club. So Derek Norris may be getting exactly what he wanted, and that's a chance to play every day. Soto did catch last night. Derek Norris was the DH. Stephen Vogt has the whole family in town.
Visalia.
Yeah.
Nice people.
Yeah.
We can see where his son gets it from.
You can see that he and his dad look exactly the same.
They do.
Yeah. It's a nice gesture on Stephen's part. Took his postseason jersey from last year and presented it to his brother for Christmas present. And he was proudly wearing it today.
Looks like his younger brother.
Yeah.
Big, strong kid, huh?
Yeah. I think it's his bodyguard.
Yeah.
Which could probably qualify for that. Stephen kind of relegated to first base. Of course, he's playing very well in right field before Josh Reddick came back. So now at first base, and did a very good job at the corner position.
Breaking ball way outside. 2-2.
Amazing. Always carries his catcher's mitt around now.
Just in case.
Yeah. We talk about the big game pitchers, but this is a case where both pitchers step up, and the philosophy in the American League, you don't face the pitcher because there's no pitcher hitting, but you know that your club might not score a lot of runs, and you want to try to limit as far as the number of runs you give up.
No high strike called there. So the count 3-2.
High curve and actually a hanger, and that's usually one that's hit hard, but Inetta held it a little bit longer for Phil Cousin. First 3-2 count of the evening for Jared Weaver. This telltale sign of what he's going to do.
And a breaking ball, and he missed.
Sonny Gray on the evening, 103 pitches. And what a performance after 28 pitches after the first 4 innings in which he threw 75. You talk about settling down. And you'd think after the way he was pitching, giving up 3 in the second inning, he would not last 4 or 5 innings with the pitch count especially, but went 7. Got a no decision, the 3 runs, 5 strikeouts. It's getting better and better, and he's still just in his first full season.
Here's Callaspo, takes down and in. Callaspo 238 with 4 homers and 39 RBIs.
Fourth came against Jared Weaver, but it was 9-0 Angels at the time. So probably would not get the same pitch that he hit out at the Coliseum Sunday night. Farino followed him a couple hitters later.
Callaspo was 1 for 4 last night. Sogard to follow. The A's getting their leadoff man aboard here in the top of the 3rd. Missed again, 2-0.
Jared Weaver, who pitched a no-hitter here at Angel Stadium. Was it Twins? It's against the Twins here. Do it in your hometown, parents, family, friends, and get to watch him pitch every game. And he pitches a no-hitter.
That one in for a strike. Well, Weaver has 127 career wins. Only 2 Angels pitchers have more wins in an Angels uniform, and it's Chuck Finley and Nolan Ryan. And he is also 3rd on the all-time Angels strikeout list behind those same 2 guys.
And I think he'd love nothing better than to stay in one uniform his whole career.
Off-speed pitch. But I think see what the off-speed pitch does to the bat speed of a hitter. That was a perfect example right here. Here's that no-hitter.
2 years ago in May, and everything working. Tried to bunt. And like that, Mark Trumbo playing third base got the job done. And a fly ball to right field, and Weaver will put his hands over his head and say, "I can't believe it. I did it." That's always special. John Lester, his opposite number tonight, did the same thing in Boston.
There's the wins list in Angels history. Mike Witt, Frank Tanana, John Lackey. Right to Pujols. He spins out at second, back to first, double play. 3-6-3 and a hard hit ball by Sogard. So the inning comes to an end. Bottom of the 3rd coming up. Beckham, Calhoun, and Trout. No score. Ford right choice has to do with Mike Trout. On Wednesday, he hit his 30th home run against the Marlins. Ties a career high for the 23-year-old. He turned 23 earlier during this season. So Trout, 2 30-homer seasons by age 22 campaign. And those are the other guys who have done it. Jimmy Fox, Ted Williams, Jose Canseco, Alex Rodriguez. Now, when he started this season, he was 22 years old.
He's no man now.
Nope. He just turned 23 years old. In 2012, 30 homers. Last year, 27 homers. Well, it's one of those things, Ray, where unfortunately for the A's, they're going to have to face him for a long, long, long time. Nothing you can do about that. But as a baseball fan, he is a lot of fun to watch.
Well, Commissioner Bud Selig said what a lot of people have thought about. Of course, as Commissioner was making his final tour around baseball, saw him at the Coliseum and ended up here in the Angels. And that is the captain, Derek Jeter, is retiring. And the face of baseball is basically number 27 for the Angels.
Yeah, well, that could be a lot worse.
Yeah,
if that's
really
the guy you're going to go with.
No, I agree. I think he is right there, and I mean, very personable young man. Great on the field, off the field, and really a great ambassador for the game.
3-1 now to Beckham. Calhoun to follow, and then Trout. In there for a strike. Good pitch right on the inside corner.
Well, the key for John Lester is not walking a lot of batters, which he normally does not, and even more than that, making quality pitches when he falls behind, which he just did on the 3-1. Try to do it again on the 3-2.
And that's right there, same spot, strike 3 call. What a great pitch. Just right on the inside corner.
Talk about pinpoint control. And Beckham thinking it's inside. Height is great. I mean, he was just fooled. I think he's just trying to sell it to Phil Cuzzy, but couldn't do it. Talking to Houston Street, he's talking about dotting the plate. And, well, John Lester just dotted the plate twice with Beckham.
Here's the leadoff man, Cole Calhoun, who had a line drive to Fulton left. First at bat. And that one just missed inside. Lester wanted that one. So he's asking.
Said it was inside.
Phil Cuzzy where it was.
He asked if it was up, and Cuzzy said no, said it was inside. Now, Derek Norris has to reach back. That doesn't mean it's inside, just because he had to do that.
And that one's belted to center. Coco's going back. He's going to have room. And he's got it, 2 outs. Here's an interesting note for you on John Lester. Most strikeouts looking this season. So the old backwards K. Lester is 4th on the list, and that's all of Major League Baseball. So strikeouts looking. So he's got 183 strikeouts total. He's got 60 looking.
Huh. David Price, you see that 88, and he gave up 9 consecutive hits in a game. That's hard to believe that anybody could pitch like that and do that, but that's a pretty impressive list. And you mentioned about seeing Trout a long time. A's and everybody at the American League West said the same thing about King Felix Hernandez. And he just signed another long contract. It's going to keep him in the Mariners uniform probably his whole career. So that's another pitcher you're seeing a lot, just like Trout as a hitter.
1-1 now to Trout, who lined out to Caspo in this first inning. that missed somewhere. I don't know where, and Lester's not happy again. So Lester has looked in at Phil Cuzzy 3 times this inning. Pitches that he thought were strikes, and they were called balls.
And what we have seen from John Lester in his few starts with the A's, I can think of a couple of times that he has actually at the end of the inning walked in and talked to the umpire, and probably we'll see if he does it with Phil Cuzzy, at least to get clarification as to where the pitches are.
Now 3-1 to Trout.
One thing Lester does not want to do is get the pitch count up, and he is a strong pitcher, but unfortunately the pitch count will get a lot of pitchers, including those who are strong.
And there's a shot to left, and that's a base hit. So hit number 3 for the Angels. And now Albert Pujols will hit.
He's a little upset. You can see, and you can read his lips. You know he was upset after giving up the hit. Maybe more so about the fact that he even went to 3-1. Yeah, he's kind of nicknamed the way John Wayne, because he had the cowboy hat on coming in from Houston, but
I wasn't going to mess with him.
He is not only a good pitcher, a great pitcher. He's big.
He is a big guy.
I mean, he's tall and he's strong. You shake his hands, he's shaking a vice grip.
First pitch to Pujols. Bounce towards Sogard, who grabs it, flips to second side, retired. So a hit and a runner left, and we're through 3 from Anaheim. No score.
Look at Jersey, presented by Cache Creek Casino Resort. 1:05 p.m. Labor Day matinee against the Seattle Mariners on September the 1st. 15,000 fans will walk away with this authentic green replica A's jersey. For information and tickets, visit athletics.com/tickets today.
Yeah, Coco's going to lead things off here in the top of the 4th inning. Fold to follow, and then Donaldson. A's do not have a hit yet in the game. They've had one base runner. That was Norris last inning, but he was erased on the double play. First pitch strike to Coco Crisp.
You try to remember as a hitter how what a pitcher has done previous at bats, but I don't think it works with Weaver, because he can remember himself and he can change up things.
Yeah, he will. He's the perfect example of a guy who will throw anything at any time.
That's right. And especially when you're looking fastball, he'll definitely pull the string.
Towards center, Trout going to make the catch. Got a good jump.
And that's why you play shallow right there. Go back on the ball, which Trout can. And you play shallow, you'll rob hitters of balls dropping in front. You don't see him in the picture, but as soon as he hits the ball, there he comes. It actually only took about 5 steps and he was there.
So 1 out for Sam Fuld. The Mariners and the Nationals are underway up in Seattle, and the Mariners have a 2-1 lead in the top of the 3rd inning. It's Felix Hernandez start. Good pitching matchup there. Zimmerman and Hernandez. Felix Hernandez 13-4 on the year with a 2.07 ERA. So we'll keep an eye on the Mariners game. The Mariners and the Tigers are tied for the second wild card spot. Curve in for a strike, 1-2.
That came down a little bit more than the one to Derek Norris. Late break on this one, and actually for Weaver tonight, he's leaving the curveballs up higher than probably where he wants them. Usually more down around the ankles.
And that one probably better location, but Sam Fuld was able to check his swing. The count is even at 2-2.
He just kind of rolls on the ball of his foot, front foot, and able to watch the ball almost into the catcher's mitt.
Fuld on the ground, 1 hopper to Kendrick, 2 outs.
And Josh Donaldson, as he said, he was locked in. And he was, as C.J. Wilson threw him a fastball, 3-1, left it out over the plate, and Josh Donaldson crushed it.
So with that in mind, here's our cold hard facts brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. Most home runs against left-handed pitching this year. Donaldson leads the league with 14. So 26 home runs total, 14 have come against lefties. And that is fair. Beckham Dofort couldn't get it. So Donaldson with a 2-out double. So couldn't have been fair by a whole lot, but
And especially as far foul that it landed, but just any part of the bag, and that's our guy Greg Gibson down there. And Donaldson jumped on it, and Weaver can't believe it was called fair. Greg Gibson did. Well, Weaver probably looked where the ball actually landed, but it had some serious hook on it by Donaldson. He gets on top of the ball and top hands it.
So here's Vogt. And Vogt takes off-speed pitch low. Vogt hit a fly ball to center field in the 2nd inning.
And this is Donaldson with the 25th double, but this is vintage Jared Weaver here. First base open. He will not allow Stephen Vogt to get anything that he believes he can hit for a base hit to drive in the run. So this is the challenge for Vogt. We're planning him to pull the ball. Figuring off-speed pitches, he's going to get out in front.
And he drops that one down and away.
But as the at-bat progresses, probably less and less likely will he get something good to hit.
Pitch. Now 3-0.
2-2 fastball back on June the 11th. And that was a 2-run home run off of the bat of Stephen Vogt over the out-of-town scoreboard. And made it a 4-1 game for the Athletics. Stephen Vogt Swinging the bat. Well, might as well give him the green light. See if he throws him a fastball. I bet he doesn't, but ever since Jed Lowry took him deep on a 3-0 fastball, he was not necessarily given into the hitter.
Right on the outside corner. Be surprised if he throws a fastball again, but who knows?
He actually got a little bit extra behind the fastball. That was his top at 89 miles per hour. Great location, though.
Donaldson, the runner at second. Curve, 3-2 now.
Well, sit soft and get a fastball hit to left field with a big hole that's there, but just could not pull the trigger. Teased him with a 3-0 fastball. Worse with a 3-1 curveball, and he can throw anything. I think he's going to tell his catcher exactly what he's going to do. One-way conversation. I always like to see the catcher give a sign, even though they verbally talked about the pitch, but infielders would like to know what pitch is going to be thrown.
So here it is, 3-2. And that one's driven to left center field. Trout on the move toward the wall, and Trout makes the catch. So nice play by Mike Trout. Went a long ways into deep left center field, and the A's do not score. Bottom of the fourth coming up. Comcast Sportsnet California is brought to you by PG&E. See our progress in your town at pgne.com/see our progress. Bottom of the fourth inning from Anaheim. No score. Nice play by Mike Trout.
That's what speed will do.
Yeah, and you know what? As you're watching him run after it, and you realize that it's probably not going to go out of the ballpark, right, then you just are pretty sure he's going to catch it.
Absolutely. No, and anything close. These walls are high, but they're not real high. And, of course, think about the great catch he made in Baltimore in right center, jumped up over the wall. But with his speed, we saw him charge in, get Coco, run back, and rob Volt. General kept talking to Johnny Gomes and hit a ball last night to left field that Hamilton actually caught at the warning track. And he actually left the plate thinking he'd hit enough. And he actually, I thought it was a little bit towards the end of the bat. He said, no, I crushed it. And he had talked to some of the guys, Pujols, Trout, said for some reason that left center field area the ball just does not carry. And we just saw it with Stephen Vogt, left-handed hitter, a little bit more difficult to drive the ball in that direction. And I'm sure there have been balls hit out there on the line drive, but any elevation, that guy's going to run them down, as he just did. Remember last year he started out playing left field with, who was it in center field? I'm just thinking Borges. Yeah, Peter Borges was playing center, and then of course he was traded to the Cardinals.
And remember, it's hard to imagine saying this, but Trout did not look that great in left field.
No, he did. No, he did not. Slow curveball, and Hamilton kept the bat and showed the base umpire. No, he did not. He went back on a couple of balls against the A's that ended up hitting over his head. But hit well by Stephen Vogt. And look where Trout's playing. Great angle to go to the wall. I mean, he's got just unbelievable blazing speed. And really, that's kind of a can of corn for him. I mean, he made it look like it was a difficult play, but he tracked it down easily.
Hamilton just got a piece of the curveball.
Trout caught it at the wall and then hit it and then kind of pumped his fist a little bit. Weaver happy.
Happy that Trout's on his team.
Exactly. And happy that he's got a long-term contract, and Weaver was smart enough to sign an extension to keep him in an Angels uniform, knowing that speed in the center field is going to track down a lot of balls that take off well.
3-2 pitch. That's hit to left. Fuld racing back. Still going back. And Sam Fuld, right near the warning track, grabs it.
And there's a difference of a line drive, but it's a left-handed hitter going to opposite field. It's not like he's going to pull it. Ball a little bit towards the outside. And nice swing by Hamilton. He's got to be happy with it, but it was on a line drive. He was unable to pull it because of the location of the fastball. And that's pretty good bolt to left field, but Sam Fuld gets good jumps.
First pitch to Howie Kendrick, down and away.
And remember, John Lester went 7 innings against the Angels, and a lot of that because of pitch count. And if nothing else, the Angels have to be happy that they are at least getting the pitch count up for Lester, which is now at 56.
Remember, they did not get a run off him until the 7th inning on Saturday night. Ibar had that RBI hit.
Don Baylor, the hitting coach, back with the club. Saw him in Oakland.
Vogt handles it. Shovels it to Lester for out number 2.
Don Baylor was funny at Oakland. Chance to talk to him. He played for the late Earl Weaver in Baltimore. Of course, one of the great players that played there. But, you know, Earl Weaver was the first to start the platoon with Redicky and Lowenstein in left field, lefty and righty. And Baylor played for him, and a great hitter against righties and lefties. And he said Earl Weaver would start throwing out statistics, tell him you can't hit this guy. Then he put him into pinch hit, and he hit a home run, and he said he'd walk right by Earl. Earl tried to shake his head. He walked right by him. So what are you doing? He said, you said I couldn't hit him, and I just did. Oh, Earl Weaver was a beauty.
Who knows? Maybe he was messing with Don Baylor. You never know.
Well, could have been. Whatever, it worked. It ticked off Baylor to the point that he proved or showed him he could hit. Don was a good hitter.
1-1 to David Freese, who struck out swinging in the 2nd inning. A couple of strikeouts for Lester.
Stand right on top of the plate and hit me if you dare. I think Biggio broke his record for most hit by pitch.
Well, 1-2 to Freese.
Cut fastball is really working great for Lester. He used it backdoor to the right-handers. He's thrown it a couple of times to Freese down and in. Struck him out on the pitch in his first at bat, and just threw a very good one for strike 2.
And he chases a high fastball. Good inning for John Lester. 3 up, 3 down with a strikeout. 5th inning coming up. It'll be Moss, Reddick, and Norris. No score. Photo to CSNCA Fan Photo. Put your name and your hometown down. Have a chance to be shown in an upcoming game broadcast. Tonight's fan photo is from Allison Costa from Turlock. And that's Parker watching the A's game on TV. Allison, thanks for the photo. We appreciate it. That's our AT&T fan photo of the game. Top of the fifth, no score between the A's and the Angels. Game 2 of the series. First pitch to Moss, down and in. Both these teams have 29 games left after tonight. I looked at the September schedules for both teams, kind of interesting. Angels have a makeup game in Cleveland on September 8th, which obviously would have been an off day otherwise. So they have an off day on September 1st, and then they don't have another off day till the 25th. So they're going to play 23 straight days in the month of September because of that makeup game in Cleveland. That's September 8th when they will make that one-game stop.
It's amazing how the rule of no more than 20 consecutive games to be played goes out the window when you have a makeup game.
Yeah,
because that, as you mentioned, the way that's set up, it would have been an off day kind of in between.
Right in between, yeah.
But that is out the window. You know, plus they don't want to wait till the end of the season and have to make it up. I mean, it's an important game actually for both clubs. And they find a mutually agreeable, a mutual date that works out.
2-2 pitch, high.
I'll tell you,
that's a Monday, right?
Yeah.
And they're in Minnesota on Sunday and in Texas on Tuesday. So
3 teams in 3 days.
There you go.
Yeah. I think the Yankees just did that.
Kansas City.
Yeah, Detroit to make up their game.
That's
it's
right.
Kansas City. It's Kansas City. That's right.
Line just foul.
Yeah,
now the A's, they only have 2 off days in September as well. The 4th and the 15th. So they're going to play 23 out of 24 days to end the season.
Yeah.
So both teams will be busy in the month of September.
And finish the season, the final week, 3 at home against the Angels. And then the last 4 of the season in Arlington, Texas, starting the Thursday night. So 7 games within the division, final 7 games of the season.
And Moss is able to check his swing, and he's got a leadoff walk.
Okay, one of the things that as you take a look at this pitch, just missed inside, and Brandon started, held up his swing, and immediately dropped his bat, headed to first base, and that's a strong arms to be able to stop a swing like that. But you know how they'll say, well, in this period of time, you're only playing teams with a record of 500 or under 500. Forget it. Every game is important. You look at the Astros, the way they played the A's. 3 games. A's actually could have very easily lost all 3. They won 2 out of 3. But boy, every game is important down the stretch. And I think what happens too, and we probably saw a little bit in Houston, where the A's are trying to win the division. It's a backhanded catch actually by Iannetta. But you can see how relaxed the Astros are playing.
No question.
And if you really don't have anything on the line, you've got to play a lot more relaxed than the team that you're playing. And really, it's the difference of playing in April, May, June, and then you get to the end of the season, everything is so good and relaxed, and then all of a sudden, oh, this game's mean something. They all mean something. It's just the time of the year they mean a little bit more.
And when the A's go to Texas for 4 at the end of the year, the Rangers will be a relaxed group.
Oh, yeah. They're going to be a relaxed group, and they're going to have players. Well, they may already have their AAA call-ups up because of all the injuries they've had this season. But you're right. I mean, the only thing that they will have in their mind is try to be a spoiler, whereas the last few years they've been at the top trying to win, and they have a chance this year because of their record. They have an important say in who wins the division.
1-1 to Reddick. Swing and a miss. Yeah, the Angels will finish against the Mariners. So that will not be an easy final week for the Angels in Oakland and in Seattle with an off day on that Thursday.
That's almost a walk. Yeah, they wanted. I think the A's wanted the ball because he started, and you watch Jared Weaver. He starts up and stops and then goes back. We'll maybe see in a minute, but I think he's a little confused on the pitch he was going to throw.
And the 1-2 pitch off speed, and Reddick swings and misses.
Well, this is what Bob Melvin was yelling about. He's in the stretch. Gets in the stretch and goes down in set position, waiting for Iannetta. And watch his move. Watch his movement now. And then he's going to step off. See, that's a ball.
See, that is a ball.
Yeah,
you're right.
Because, because basically he ended up stepping off the mound, but he didn't do it in the same motion.
Exactly.
And
he started his motion and then eased into what he decided to do.
Now you tell me how 4 umpires missed that.
No.
If we can see it,
because they're not looking.
Exactly.
I mean, the guys, coaching staff. I mean, they're looking.
But every eye should be on the pitcher. He's the one that has the ball. He generates the play, and every umpire's eyes normally and should be on a pitcher because they call some of the most ridiculous balks in the world. That truly was one that he just did not continue stepping off.
And really, at that point in the sequence of what's going on in the game, the only thing to look at is the pitcher.
Yeah, and he did it right there. That's a ball. He's moving. I mean, it's not deceiving anybody, but it's a ball. Yeah.
I mean, everybody pointed. And
wow.
Listen. I wouldn't know what Phil Cuzzy's looking at. Greg Gibson probably has the best look at it as the third base umpire. 2-0 pitch is in for a strike, 2-1.
You know, there's always that Balkan Bob Davidson. He watches. He watches.
Credit, at least he watches.
Absolutely, he
I mean,
watches.
He may be looking for something specific, but
in this case, he would have found it.
He would have found it. 2-1 pitch. Beckham knocks it down, scrambles after, will throw to first, and not in time. Norris beats it out. See what the ruling is, but the A's will have 2 on and 1 out.
I'll tell you, it's very close to being a double play. Yeah, it's an error, and that's probably a good call by Ed Munson, because if Beckham comes up with the ball, it's a double play. The A's catch a break with it off the glove, and he goes to first base. Really hustling down the line was Norris. And fortunately, the ball kicked far enough away that Beckham picked it up, and maybe Ibar would have had a better chance to throw him out. But Derek Norris, first of all, trying to avoid being doubled up, and then once he saw the ball kicked by Beckham, even more so.
So an opportunity for the A's, a walk and an error. And here's Callaspo, who swings and misses. Callaspo hit a shallow fly ball to center field in the third inning. A's last night were 1 for 6 with runners in scoring position.
And I think 1 for 20, Captain, in Oakland last weekend, even though they won 2 out of 3.
Well, the flashes have come out again. I thought it was the 6th inning when they did it last night, but not quite sure what that's all about.
I saw something in the paper today, as you probably did, about somebody encouraged fans to take their cell phones with the app that has the
Hamilton hustling over. He dives and he caught it. Sensational play by Josh Hamilton in foul territory. Man.
Well, he does a lot of things that kind of upsets people, but this type of a play is one that they will cheer him loudly, and that was a great play. Ran a long way, left his feet, and came up with a great play, sliding on the warning track.
So that is out number 2. What a play. We said last night he's got very good speed. He's a big guy, but he can really run. Saw that speed there. So 2 outs for Sogard.
Trying to ambush Weaver in his first at bat. Hit hard, but doubled the mark. That's something that Sogard does a good job, where he'll take a lot of pitches, but then look for one early in the count and jump on it. And in a similar type ball now might scoot past Pujols. Pujols was holding the runner in his first at bat in the third.
Pitch number 70 coming up from Jared Weaver. And there's a strike. 80 miles an hour. And he's an example of a guy who has lost a fair amount of velocity, but it has not hurt him. And that usually doesn't happen. That usually does affect guys' success. Hit hard. Kendrick with a nice play. Flips to first, side retired. So the Angels with some very fine defense in the top of the 5th. And it keeps the A's off the board. Bottom of the 5th coming up.
Just place a deposit on 2015 A's ticket plan and secure your place in line for 2014 postseason tickets. For more information, call 510-638-GO-A's or go to athletics.com/deposit.
No score, bottom of the 5th inning. And it'll be Ibar, Iannetta, Beckham, the bottom 3 against John Lester. 3 hits for the Angels. 3 strikeouts for Lester, and he's thrown 61 pitches. Ibar grounded out to Donaldson in the 2nd inning. Lines that one foul toward the far end of the Angels dugout. Since 2008, the most wins in baseball. John Lester 4th on that list. Jared Weaver 3rd on that list.
So we're saying if John Lester can win tonight, he ties Dream Weaver. for the most.
That's right. Verlander pitched tonight. It's a 7-1 Tigers lead in the 9th inning, so he's got a chance to get a win. You know, the Tigers winning 7-1 bottom of the 9th in Chicago, and the Indians leading the Royals 4-0 in the 8th inning. It's that race in the Central, which right now has the Royals with a 1.5 lead over Detroit, but that could change soon. 3-1 now to Ibar. The Nationals have taken the lead over Felix Hernandez. It's 5-2 Washington over Seattle in the bottom of the 4th inning. Ibar takes a strike. Now full count. AL West and the wild card standings. See the A's with the #1 wild card. Tigers, Mariners tied. The Yankees 2.5 back of the 2nd wild card. Indians 4 back. Dive by Sogard. He can't get it, and Ibar has a leadoff single. So that's the first time tonight that the Angels have had their leadoff man aboard. And it's a speedy base runner in Ibar.
Well, they got the count to 3-2. Actually took the 3-1 fastball. Yeah, he may have gotten a better pitch on the 3-2 and hit it hard past the diving Sogard. And it's in bottom part of the batting order. That's what's happening here with Ibar hitting 7th tonight.
So here's Chris Iannetta, who hit a fly ball to left field in the 2nd inning. Lays off a high fastball. Well, I guess if Lester and Felix Hernandez pitching tonight, they would square off on Wednesday at the Coliseum. How about that matchup?
That's going to be it.
Day game on Wednesday between the A's and the Mariners. Strike, 1-1. That's the kind of pitching matchup you certainly pay to see.
Yeah. You have to wonder this part of the batting order, the hit and run, steal, different things. Ibar we've seen with the ball in the dirt, taking the extra lead, secondary lead, advancing.
Missed outside, 2-1.
Lester is quick to the plate. He just showed it there with a nice quick slide step.
So Iannetta, a long look down to 3rd. Ibar, the runner at first, has 14 steals, but he's been thrown out 9 times. He's dancing around. Lester just holds, still holding. And now it's 3-1.
I think if Ibar is going to run, which he probably will not now anyway, we're going first move.
Well, he's been dancing around now. Doesn't necessarily mean he's going to take off, but he's out there pretty good ways.
He's got the one-way lean going back to first base. See the weight on his. Yeah.
And he goes, and the ball's hit in the air left center, and it's hit well. Coco on the move. Coco near the wall. He leaps. Did he catch it? Did he catch it? We don't know if he caught it. The umpire's running all the way out there. Ibar has run all the way around to score. Iannetta standing at second base, and we still don't know if he caught it.
Well, he dropped the ball.
And it went over the fence, maybe?
Well, or it's in his glove laying on the ground. It's in his glove, or is it?
And Coco is in a lot of pain.
Well, and
Iannetta finishes the run as he crosses home plate. But the concern right now, big time, is with Coco Crisp as he banged hard into that wall, and we still don't know where the baseball is.
Yeah. Well, that's why if the ball was in the glove on the ground, really it's not a catch because it left. But I think, unfortunately, it may not be that is the case. It might have gone over. because Fold had Coco's glove. He was holding his glove.
He would have showed the umpire at least.
Or at least thrown the ball back in.
It was an unbelievable effort by Coco Crispin. It actually looked like he caught it.
I thought so.
The replay.
Yeah, there's
going to show us.
He had it in his glove. They just showed it on Diamondbacks. He actually had it in his glove over the fence, and it dropped out of his glove with the contact that he made.
Wow. So he did get really a full glove on it, and he had it in his glove. Here it is. Watch the glove.
It's got to go over the fence. It catches it there, but then when he hit the wall, the ball was knocked out of his right here. This is a great shot here.
So he's got it fully in his glove, and then he hits that top, and it triples out. My, oh my.
Well, it's the impact of the wall on his arm that knocked the ball out.
And Coco, and not only did he bang his arm, but then he landed extremely hard. He's walking off. But boy, let's hope Coco's okay. So he had it in his glove. That close to being one of the greatest catches you'll ever see.
Sam Fole's looking for the ball to see if it's in his glove, because Coco held on to his glove, dropped the ball, then when it came down, landed hard. Of course, he's had the neck issue also, but that impact of the arm on the wall just could not hang on.
So Gentry comes in, and it's a 2-run homer for Chris Iannetta.
Well, he got a fastball to hit, which is surprising that it was the fastball. Gave up home runs to Johnson and Upton in Atlanta. Those are the only two, make it now 3 that he's given up. For John Lester, making his 5th start, 6th start for the Athletics. He said, I caught it, and he did. Couldn't hang on, though.
Think about how high he was in the air, and then, boy, he really landed hard, and the neck's been bothering him all year. So for Iannetta, his 6th home run of the year. So Gentry is in the game in center field, so he will hit in Coco's leadoff spot. And the Angels have a 2-0 lead here in the bottom of the 5th inning. So nobody out. It's Beckham. Beckham swings at a slider and misses.
Well, and that's that quickly. Bottom part of the batting order. You know it. 3-2 fastball, 3-1 fastball from Lester.
Hit hard, but right at Callaspo for the first out here in the bottom of the 5th.
A lot of 3-ball counts tonight for John Lester, which is not normal for him. It's the 4th home run, the last 97 and a third.
Iannetta had a walk-off against the A's earlier this year.
Drew Pomeranz. Cal go ahead 1 against Francis.
So here's Calhoun. Calhoun hits that one off the end of the bat, rolls it foul. Outfield plays Calhoun toward left. Curve and a good one, and it's 0-2 to Calhoun. He was 0 for 2 tonight, and he's 0 for 7 in the series. So he's had some big hits against the A's this year, but the A's have kept him quiet so far in this series.
Well, the shock last night that he stayed in the game against Abad in the 9th inning with the bases loaded and 1 out.
That is a fair ball picked up by Vogt, and he grabs it. So 2 outs.
That's a swing. We talked about that part. Iannetta either thinks he's hit it out or it's going to be caught, but he stops and then he'll head to second, not really knowing what has happened. But he loaded up very nicely on that, and if it's going to go out in that part of the park, you have to swing like that, and he did. See, Coco comes up with it. Ibar's doubled off, but he was running on the pitch and did not know what had happened.
There's a beach ball out in right center field. Beach ball on the field. Maybe one of the top 3 most annoying things that I can think of in a ballpark. Yeah, there's not that many annoying things at a ballpark.
But only see the beach balls in Anaheim.
So Trout steps in. A line out and a single for Trout. First pitch off speed for a strike. Almost like he's stealing a strike with that pitch. Hitter probably won't swing at it. Good spot there, right on the outside corner. Trout doesn't like it.
Trout says he wants to try to avoid swinging at bad pitches, then gets pitches like that called last night and tonight. How can you not swing?
So Trout behind in the count, 0-2.
Now this is Lester wanted to throw a pitch that Derek Norris is not called. Trout to step out of the box twice.
And he reaches for that pitch and just gets a piece of it. Pujols to follow if Trout were to get aboard, but Lester ahead in the count, 0-2. High fastball, pretty good 0-2 pitch. Lester liked it more than Phil Cuzzy did.
Yeah. Hey, say you call that low strike, and then what about one that really is a strike?
Missed inside, so 2-2 the count, 92 miles an hour. Trout with terrific power to right field. And he swings at a breaking ball, strikes out. So the Angels get the home run off the bat of Chris Iannetta, and they lead 2-0 after 5. Beers will be available throughout the ballpark, and 10,000 fans will receive an A's Oktoberfest Stein courtesy of Cache Creek Casino Resort. In addition, fans may purchase a special ticket to attend a Brewmaster meet and greet that includes a commemorative Oktoberfest ceramic stein. For tickets, visit athletics.com/Oktoberfest. 2-0 the Angels lead. It's the top of the 6th inning. And Gentry, who came into the game for Coco Crisp, will lead things off in the first pitch in for a strike. So Chris Iannetta with the home run that Coco Crisp had in his glove for a moment. In the air toward Calhoun, who trots in a step or two, and he's got it, 1 out. Now that game in Seattle, the Nationals have a 5-2 lead now in the bottom of the 5th inning. The Nationals have hit 4 home runs off Felix Hernandez, and he has never allowed more than 3 in a game, and he did it tonight in 4 innings. He allowed 4 home runs. So again, 5-2, the Nationals leading the Mariners, and Felix Hernandez is still in the game.
Well, after all, they skipped him Wednesday to pitch tonight, so I'd say he'll stay in. He's got some extra rest because of it.
So we'll keep an eye on that score. The only other game going on, Cleveland 4, Kansas City 0 in the 9th inning. Excuse me. Right?
No, I was just going to say that we've always talked about pitching, and Gray last night, Lester tonight, but bottom line tonight, 5 innings, the A's have 1 hit. As you pointed out last night, in the last 4 1/3, the A's got 0 hits off the bullpen. So, pitchers can only do so much. And, Lester gives up a hit and then a home run.
And maybe a 1-out start for Sam Fuld as he's got a base hit.
Well, Weaver, who gave up 3 runs after having a 9-0 lead, now has a 2-0 lead and throws a high fastball on a 2-1 count. So maybe the A's 3rd time through the batting order, just try to remember what Weaver has done to get you out. And Donaldson, 1 swing of the bat, can tie it as he did last night, but have to be a solo home run.
So here's Donaldson. A strikeout and a double. So that hit the 2nd hit for the A's. And Donaldson with a couple of doubles and a home run already in this series. Right on the outside corner for a strike from Weaver. But we were talking about Weaver's velocity, and go back maybe 3-4 years ago, Ray. I mean, he was probably 90, 91, right?
Yeah.
And he was never a real hard thrower. And now 87, 88 is probably what he tops out at. No swing as they check down with Will Little.
Well, he starts a swing, but he's very disciplined. Recognizes pitches, strike zone or not. Got away with one there, probably. Could have gone a strike, was not called. But for Weaver, the one thing that he has had going for him, he's always had the good curveball. He has very good control, so he can lose velocity on a fastball, but because of the other pitches, he can continue to get big outs.
Dug out of the dirt.
You take a pitcher who relies on a changeup and loses velocity on his fastball, then the differential between the fastball and a changeup is not as great, and all of a sudden it's not as good a pitch. Right, Butcher, of course, the pitching coach and been with Mike Scioscia a long time, and after Bud Black left to go be the manager of the Padres, Butcher stepped in, has done a good job.
One to Donaldson with Vogt in the on-deck circle. And that one called the ball, and it's 3-1. Here's the fastball comparison pre-All-Star break, post-All-Star break. Now, Weaver has continued to win games, but he has gotten knocked around a little bit in the second half, and you see the batting average on the fastball. Second half, 365. The slugging is almost doubled. So, I would say when it's 86, 87 miles an hour, then the location is not good.
Yeah.
So the A's have 2 on, and they have 1 out for Vogt.
It'd be nice if Stephen Vogt to get into one as Mike Butcher is going to go visit with his pitcher. But I think Weaver there knows the potential that Josh Donaldson has to hitting a home run tie in a game. Throws him a 3-1 slider. Like he didn't want to give in to him.
Yep.
He's probably telling Butcher, I know what I'm doing, Mike. I didn't want to pitch to Donaldson, have him tie the game. I'd rather take my chances with Vogt. So maybe you can throw that same high fastball, and Stephen Vogt can make a lot of people happy.
Well, and in all honesty, Ray, if somebody from the A's maybe doesn't get hot, that may be the way it is. Just get around Donaldson. Don't let him beat you.
Absolutely.
Because he's starting to swing the bat better lately.
Yeah.
So we'll see if Vogt can take advantage. First pitch is line foul. I mean, that's just kind of the reality of the situation.
Absolutely. And, you know, the A's made a big trade and got a great pitcher in John Lester, but I must admit, every time we see a new team, people say, well, Cespedes is out of your lineup.
Yep.
You know, but again, he was in the middle and made a lot of guys good. Lester, first comments were, I know I was acquired for a very good hitter.
And this one's popped up. Hamilton comes in, and Hamilton calls off Ibar, and that's the second out.
But really, the offense has to pick it up, and that's the biggest thing.
So that'll bring up Moss, and Moss is starting to swing it a little bit better. Tonight a strikeout and a walk. Last night he had a hit and a couple of walks, so maybe he's starting to come around. We'll see. A good time for a big hit right here. A's are now 0 for 4 with runners in scoring position tonight. Here's another opportunity for Moss. First pitch, ripped foul.
As he did with Vogt, that's a teaser in the first pitch, and throws what looks like a fastball, pulls a string, hitters out in front, and just try to keep the ball in play. And really, it's kind of a cheap, quick strike if you throw it like Weaver has to Vogt and Moss to the point that they get out in front and pull them.
So the shift is on. Ibar playing right near second base. He's keeping a close eye on the speedy Sam Fold. Swing and a miss. Slow curve. So the crowd will get into it. Another big crowd, not a sellout. There are a few empty seats in the upper deck.
Here's that slow curve. They got Brandon Moss in Oakland, and it's almost like he just cannot stay back long enough. That's why major league hitters cannot be very good slow pitch fast softball hitters, because it's hard to stay back.
0-2, and here's the pitch. Fastball just a bit high. Weaver's ready, and he delivers. And that hit Moss in the foot. So a breaking ball down and in, and Moss gets hit, and now the bases are loaded.
What he was not expecting. He's just happy to take the pitch because out of the strike zone, but it got him hard. Watch him bounce up after the ball. His right and the left toe, the back foot protection on the right on top of the foot. Curveball. Brandon Moss recognizing it, not swinging. Maybe wanted to get hit with the right shin. Instead, I don't think he wanted to get hit by any part of his body.
No, not at this point in the year. Everybody's a little banged up. So here is Reddick.
Well, you could just tell he's hurting. So Reddick, a fly ball to center, struck out on a 1-2 off-speed pitch.
First pitch, and it floats a bit outside.
Mike Moore, the right-hander, who has pitched a total of 2/3 of an inning for the Angels. 1/3 and 1/3. Change up off the plate. Josh Reddick hit his first career grand slam against his former team, the Red Sox.
Curve is high, and now it's 2-0. Reddick in the driver's seat. Just got to try to figure out what he's going to throw.
Yeah, the driver's seat's going to be a changeup. He will not get to the speed limit. It's the right-hander Moore.
And he's warming up quick. Here's the 2-0 pitch, and it was off speed. Yep. 78 miles an hour, and Reddick just reached for it a little bit.
Well, goodness for Reddick, it went in the seats because it was a changeup floating in, and Reddick started, tried to open up, and went over the left side. And right now, he'd take a dunk, base hit, blue pit, left field.
Fold, Donaldson, Moss, the runners. And that one lifted in the air to left. So that's not going to get it done, and the A's leave them loaded in the top of the 6th inning. Bottom of the 6th coming up. It'll be Pujols, Hamilton, and Kendrick. 2-0 Angels.
He has been a dream weaver because there's a fastball, there's a changeup, a couple of strikeouts, and John Lester pitching brilliantly, but no offense. He's got strikeouts, pitching well. Got a Beckham with a strikeout there, but unfortunately this one after a base hit by Ibar. Coco Crisp, best effort, had the ball in his glove, banged in hard to the wall. There in the glove, over the wall, dropped out. And a 2-run home run. Gary Davis finally making the call after So no ball was in the glove. So there are the numbers. The A's only 2 hits tonight, but not a big hit with runners in scoring position. Angels, actually, they haven't either. Except Ibar was at first base when Iannetta hit the home run.
So Lester back to work. It's the bottom of the 6th inning. Pujols, Hamilton, and Kendrick. The first pitch is a curve in for a strike. Pujols a single and a ground out. So he is 1 for 2. 5 hits for the Angels. Lester now at 85 pitches as we're into the 6th inning. Right on the outside corner. Good pitch there. 1-2. A's play Pujols with Callaspo behind second base. Outfield just pulled to left center a little bit. And this one hit high in the air to shallow center. Pujols flips his bat out in front of home plate, and Gentry has it.
I think I was thinking, watching Coco have the ball in his glove, kind of drop over. And then you go in the arcades, you got those big things that you got the little, you can kind of turn, put money in and turn, and you can grasp down and grab something, and you lift it up. Oh, I got it, I got it.
And then it falls out.
There you go. There goes the money.
I've never seen anybody win at that game.
That's right. And Coco, that looked exactly like that. He had it, and tried to close the glove, and it, boop, just dropped out.
Yep, you're right.
And you're right. They put those big stuffed animals in there for a reason, because they know nobody can get them.
I'm 0 for 27.
Perfect game, huh?
Well, and you know what? And you could see Coco's arm, kind of the forearm area, bang into that wall, and pretty hard contact there as well.
Well, the best I've ever seen was the Terrence Long robbing Manny Ramirez, reaching over the bullpen at Fenway Park with his right hand as a left-handed thrower, reached over and brought it back. That's what you have to do. But you have to have a wall that you're not banging into and have the impact of it, which is what we just saw with Coco. And I mean, there's hardly, it's very impossible. I mean, just not possible at all to hang on a ball when you hit the wall as hard as he did. Another good curveball to Hamilton. Again, watch right here. He caught the ball right there, but watch as he bangs his forearm against the top of the wall, and it's just like your arm goes limp.
Well, and the glove comes off the hand a little bit, so then you really lose kind of control of the glove.
And those gloves are 14 inches long, and to get up in the webbing, you can't feel it. That's like it's in the pocket. And I mean, if the glove is, it's going to be very tough. Even more, you appreciate what Mike Trout is able to do to get to the ball, jump up, and be able to bring it back.
Tough hop for Donaldson, and it scoots by him. Kendrick aboard with 2 outs.
Well, Coco's going up. The left foot hits it, kind of collapses there, twists a little bit as he hit the wall, and then bangs hard, snaps his neck, and of course the neck issue by the way he hit the warning track hard.
But his ankle, or his left foot too, really jammed into that wall. Spike marks. Look at that.
I remember the Ken Griffey Jr. shot in the right center field where he broke his ankle, foot, or something by climbing the walk like that. I mean, you're going full bore. I mean, you're running hard, and the impact, while they are padded, still hard by the time you put your foot or run your body against the wall.
Yeah, Coco is going to be sore tomorrow. 0-1 the count to Freeze. That was a hit for Kendrick. Swinging and a miss by Freeze. 0-2. Freeze has struck out twice, both times swinging.
I just noticed the bullpen for the Angels, and Jared Weaver looks like he might be finished. They're going to 7th, 8th, and 9th hopeful for the Angels. That is Jepson. He's got the 7th inning. Of course, they go to Joe Smith for the 8th. Houston treat the 9th. Seems like that's their scenario, as it seems now a lot of clubs have their 7th, 8th, and 9th pitchers.
Sogard scoops it up, throws high over everybody, and it ricochets off the sidewall, bounces back onto the field. And everybody's going to be moved up a bag, so it's going to be an error on Sogard. Just let it sail.
Yeah, and routine ground ball, and Lester hopeful will be headed the dugout. And Sogard went through into the dugout and back. Really didn't follow through. He kind of left it up.
So now 2nd and 3rd, 2 outs for Eric Aybar. Aybar with a ground out and a base hit, including a run scored, and he takes a first pitch strike.
Well, Lester, after the completion of that play, has hands on his knees, and of course hopeful to be out of the inning, but I think also he remembers what Aybar did to him last Saturday when he got the base hit up the middle.
Yep.
And
good at bat.
Yeah, great at bat, and shot a base hit up the middle. The last thing he wants to do now, and might even think more about Iannetta, even though he hit a 2-run home run off of him. But Aybar had a 3-2 fastball scored in front of the home run by Iannetta.
And he bunts, and it's a good one. Lester picks it up, and he's not going to be able to make a throw. Kendrick stayed at 3rd, and Aybar can't believe it. Kendrick stayed at 3rd. Aybar's going to have a hit, but the outcome probably not what he had in mind when he made the bunt.
Well, you know what might have stopped him, and really, he'd have been out at the plate.
Yeah,
he'd have run into an out.
You can see Kendrick's point on that replay. I mean, he's going to be out by 10 feet.
Well, Donaldson was following Kendrick down the line.
Yeah.
So if Lester doesn't get it, Donaldson does, and if Kendrick is going home, he flips the ball to Norris and he's out.
Yeah. In fairness to Kendrick, he probably did the right thing.
Absolutely. At this point, exactly.
I mean, even if he takes off right when the bunt is laid down, I still think they could have got him at home.
And really, it's not a suicide. It really was Aybar on his own, and probably, even though Kendrick might be at least anticipating that he might do it, but it's not like you can assume that it's going to happen and break down like it's a suicide squeeze. So the A's, if they can get this out, they catch a break, because Aybar is a very, very tough hitter. Runners in score position.
Iannetta got a fastball out over the plate and fouled it straight back. So a huge point in the game with the score just 2-0. Iannetta with the 2-run homer in the 5th inning.
And Gentry just moved over from right center, more straight up in center field. He was shading Iannetta more towards the right center field gap. Iannetta hit the home run, but it's a 3-1 fastball that he hit to left center, so he's able to load up, guess, and got the pitch he was looking for.
Curve stays outside.
A slow curve, but did not have the sharp break to take it into the strike zone. Stayed outside off the plate.
There's a liner foul well out in front.
Now, really, Iannetta actually does what you're supposed to do as a hitter. You get a count in your favor. You load up and look for a pitch, so you're not really holding anything back if you get the pitch you're looking for. He just did it on that fastball. Fortunately for the A's, pulled it foul. But he didn't get cheated on the ball he hit the center field. Scribner getting loose quickly.
Pitch number 102. Here it is. And good take by Iannetta. But Lester went for the teaser pitch and give Iannetta some credit to lay off. So now a full count, bases loaded, and everybody will be moving. And the crowd rises to its feet. Runners go, and the pitch is hit foul just to our right.
Might have been ball 4. But he got his fastball. He's looking for it. Open up on it. Well, this conversation is about John, you've got a good cutter. You've got a good curveball.
It's got options.
Yeah, and you don't just have to throw a four-seam fastball and let Iannetta tee off like he did his last at bat. And if nothing else, it puts a little thought process in Iannetta's head that they're at least talking about it and maybe taking away a pitch that he thinks he's going to be getting, and maybe just enough to hold him back. Let's see.
And he just rolled it foul, and it was a breaking ball, down and in, off speed. In fact, he really took quite a bit off.
You know, this is strike 3 if he doesn't swing. So just barely fouled it, but that in itself tells Iannetta that he's not a one-pitch pitcher, 3-2.
Missed high and walked in a run as Kendrick trots in to score. And that is the first walk issued by Lester tonight.
And he didn't follow through. He did not finish on the pitch. He committed to the fastball. But watch him kind of drag and just get under it. Maybe it was the backdoor cutter. Maybe it had a little cut action on it, but
so Kurt Young to the mound. And Lester will now face Beckham. So a strained neck for Coco Crisp, and that's the injury that's been bothering him ever since he banged into the wall at the Coliseum a while back.
all this started with 2 outs. Fly ball to center, strikeout on 3 pitches to Hamilton. Kendrick with a base hit off the glove of Donaldson.
And the air by Sogard, which was really a fairly routine ground ball.
As routine as you'll ever see.
Beckham takes low.
Maybe that's why John Lester went to his knees, because pitch count getting up a little bit higher, but should not be affected in that much.
That one driven to left. Full going back, but he's going to get there, and he makes the catch. Side retired. So a run for the Angels, and it's 3-0 after 6. walk-off wins versus the Athletics this year. This was April 16th. That's the Iannetta home run. And then on June 10th, it was Colin Cowgill. And then last night, it was the Kendrick sac fly. So 3 walk-off wins against the A's this year. So actually the Angels have had a lot of comfort behind wins. So it's been one of the things that they've done well this year. It's got them the best record in baseball.
And you look at their 10. Remember, the A's had 2012 with 13 during the regular season, 1 in the postseason. And it kind of describes what you said about the home record for the Angels.
Yeah. So 3-0, the Angels lead. A's trying to get something going. And the first pitch is a strike to Norris. A's are 0 for 5 with runners in scoring position tonight. They were 1 for 6 last night. So 1 for 11 so far in the series. A quick 0-2 to Norris. Norris tonight a walk, and he reached on an error. So he's been on base twice. Big sweeping breaking ball.
Just wonder with Jepson listening in the bullpen as he was during the A's half of the inning or the Angels half. As he continues to warm up, if this is a batter to batter. Last Sunday, Ripper gave up 3 in the 7th inning, but with 2 outs. So she took him out, brought in Mike Moore for 1/3 of an inning. And Weaver wasn't too happy. Wasn't too happy.
96 pitches.
And I think every pitcher wants to finish the inning, walk off, and last thing he wants to do, of course, to give up home runs to the 2 hitters at the bottom of the batting order and not be able to at least get through the 7 innings.
Now Weaver trying to get on the same page with Iannetta. Callaspo to follow, and then Sogard for the A's here in the 7th.
Shook to a changeup.
And it was high. Looked like he got underneath it just a little bit. Closing in on 100 pitches is Weaver. And that one right back to Weaver, who handles a little bit of a tough hop, fires to first, and Norris is out. So 1 out. Here's Callaspo.
Well, it was a 9-0 lead by the Angels, and Callaspo, the high fastball inside. Calhoun thought he was, I guess, Superman. That ball well over the fence in right field. A couple of batters later, Andy Perino would hit the home run. But the A's already down very, very big at the time by 9 runs. 9-4 was the final.
Callaspo tonight, a couple of flyouts. One was that terrific sliding or diving catch by Hamilton in foul territory down the left field line. Pitch number 100 from Weaver. Here it is. Now it's 0-2. He's got their first hit in the 4th inning. It was a Donaldson double. The only other hit they've had is Folt's 1-out single in the 6th. 3 walks, 3 strikeouts for Weaver. And this one in the air to Hamilton, and he's got it. And you talk a lot about this, Ray, and I think tonight is a perfect example when the guy has off-speed pitches and he's getting you out with off-speed pitches. You see a lot of weak pop-ups.
Yeah.
Because guys get out in front and kind of lose the power.
Got 10 fly ball outs tonight, make it 11 with Kai Espos. He had 10 in the 6 2/3 last Sunday. And frustrating as it might be, but it's really very good pitching because it is more of a hitter taking his body forward and not enough back with the bat, and he just lifts because he knows it's a strike. In case of Kai Espos, 2 strikes.
Sogard bunts nicely, but Beckham throws, and Pujols leaped off the bag. And he kind of tried to tag him.
And he's looking at the dugout.
He says he got him in the head. Sogard called safe. It was kind of a blind tag, but we'll see. It was a heck of a try by Pujols, and he says he got him. Let's see. And he did. He got him in the right arm, it looked like.
That was his left foot on the bag. I think that was the key.
So Mike Scioscia out. Pujols says yeah, but he definitely tagged him. But did he tag him before that?
Before the left foot was on the bag? Because, there was an article recently about Nick Punto. Watch the left foot as he tags it. And Sogard's arm, a pretty acrobatic play by Pujols. He feels he can get it, gets him, and just a matter of the foot. He's out there.
He's out. Yeah. Well, what a play by Pujols.
I was just going to say the article on Nick Punto about how he always slides head first. There's the time to slide head first.
That's it.
Yeah, that's exactly the only time. When a first baseman jumps up to catch the ball, you go down. You hit the ground, and the rest of the time, normally you don't get to the bag quickly enough by sliding head first. And Scioscia was telling Jared Weaver, continue to throw. Beckham airmailed it, but what a play by Pujols on the other end to reach up, and it's almost like some of these pitchers we've seen to throw the gloves behind their backs, catch the ball, and make an unbelievable play. Well, that's it. That's a pretty good television there. How about you got 3 umpires, the 2 umpires. You got Mike Scioscia, the manager, Bob Melvin, the manager. You got all 3 boxes.
Mike Bird, our director, doing a terrific job.
What a threesome there, boy. That's great.
Left foot. It's very close.
Yeah. Well, the momentum by Pujols had him passed. And he thinks he tagged him because at the end, momentum had him missing it, but whether he felt he tagged him.
Good call.
They must be thinking he didn't tag him, but he did get him. His foot wasn't on the bag. If he touched him, that's why Pujols adamantly looked over to Scioscia and said yes. And so inconclusive, maybe.
And there's a shot. What a play by Beckham. Gentry hit a shot, and Beckham leaped up to grab it. He was playing in, and another very nice play by the Angels. conversation between Mike Butcher, the pitching coach, and Jared Weaver, the starter. Weaver over 100 pitches, so we'll see what happens in the 8th inning. Well, when it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up, your oil change, tune-up, and repair experts. Evan Scribner comes in. So Lester goes 6 innings, gives up 3 runs, 2 earned runs. And Scribner takes over. So Lester gives up the 2-run homer to Iannetta and then the unearned run in the 6th. So he throws 107 pitches. Strikes out 5, walks 1. This did not seem quite as sharp with his control as we've seen him, and we're talking about, you know, one of the best pitchers in all of baseball. So
Brian had a stat that he had one time 5 3-ball counts. Angels were 3 for 5 in those counts. So that's unusual for Lester to get to that point. And then, of course, the pitch count gets him out after 6, and even more so getting the 3-1 count to Iannetta when he hit the home run and then walked Iannetta on a 3-2 fastball. So it's Iannetta 3, A's nothing tonight.
There you go.
And Evan Scribner back with the club. The club yesterday here in Anaheim.
Calhoun with a big swing, fouls it into the second level. Oh. Well, they just changed one of the scoring calls in the 6th inning, and it was that hard hit ball by Kendrick that got past Donaldson. Originally a hit, so they have changed that to an error. So 2 errors for the A's in that 6th inning, and just 1 hit.
So that makes it even an uglier inning, because that goes fly ball, strikeout, E5, E6, infield base hit, actually the bunt by Ibar, bases loaded walk.
A curve drilled toward Reddick and right, who comes in and he makes the catch. Calhoun's hit a couple balls hard tonight, but is 0 for 4. So Trout will step to the plate. Well, in that American League Central, the Tigers beat the White Sox 7-1. Verlander went 7 innings, struck out 8. And he got the win, so that's his 12th win of the year. So the Tigers win, and the Royals lose. The Indians beat the Royals 6-1. Salazar over Vargas. So the Tigers now just a half game behind the Royals in that Central. And the Indians are making a little move in that wild card.
Well, as we talked in Kansas City, when of course the Royals playing so well as they did, back-to-back series against the Athletics, within about 10 days, and said there's still a lot of baseball left, and the Tigers are not going to just fall away and not try to be and be competitive in the month of September. Mike Ilitch, the owner, spends a lot of money for them to be competitive all 6 months and even the 7th.
Reddick, more action. He squeezes it, 2 outs. In the American League East, the Orioles beat the Twins 9-1. Chris Davis had a grand slam. And the Yankees beat the Blue Jays 6-3. So the Orioles maintain their 7-game lead over the Yankees in the division. But the Yankees very much in play in that wild card race in the American League. And the Nationals leading the Mariners 7-2 now. And that game is in the top of the 8th inning. So there's your games of importance. High and deep to left field. That's hit a ton. Fold is going to watch this one go. And that's career home run number 516 for Albert Pujols.
Pitch sequence. First pitch, great curveball, buckled his knees. Second pitch, fastball. Still is strong. And when you hit him like that, you don't have to run hard, as he did in his first at bat. He's ready to try to throw him out from right field.
Here's Hamilton, and he hits a shot, but right into the glove of Vogt for the final out. Pujols with a home run. So it's now 4-0 Angels as we head to the 8th. By Discover RV in Lodi. Come and check out our grand opening and summer savings. Visit our website at discoverrv.net. 4-0 the Angels lead. We have reached the 8th inning. Albert Pujols with career home run number 516 in the bottom of the 7th inning to add on another run for the Angels. We got a pitching change. When it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up. Your oil change, tune-up, and repair experts. It's Joe Smith, who pitched an inning last night, threw 16 pitches in that inning. So he's out there again for the 8th inning. So 104 pitches for Jared Weaver in 7 shutout innings. 3 walks, 3 strikeouts, 12 fly ball outs.
Yep.
So Weaver beating the A's on Sunday at the Coliseum, which is even better tonight.
With a lot less run support, but he definitely did not change his game plan.
The A's have 6 more outs to work with. So it'll be Full, Donaldson, and Vogt. See if they can get something going. Full swung at a high pitch. It's 0-2. Full tonight has hit a fly ball to right. He's grounded to second, and he is single. Shoots that one foul. Mike Gallego watches it sail right past him. Rolls one foul. If you're joining us late, Coco Crisp left the game in the 5th inning after going up against the wall, leaping over the wall to try to
grab a home run off the bat of Chris Iannetta. He had it in his glove momentarily, but he banged hard into the wall and then fell hard onto the ground, and he had to leave the game. A one-hop backhand to Kendrick, and that's out number one. And Coco left with the sore neck, and this was the play. It was an unbelievable effort by Coco Crisp. And you see it in his glove momentarily, and then you see how hard he lands. And it was in there. And Coco, he left the game. Gentry took over. And there's the spike mark from Coco Crisp. Up the middle, Kendrick playing right behind second base, and Donaldson's retired. So 2 outs here. Yeah, that'll bring up Stephen Vogt. So Vogt tonight is 0 for 3. Jesse Chavez looks like he's going to get an inning of work. So 1-1 to Vogt. Vogt has hit the ball in the air 3 times.
Frustrating thing for Stephen Vogt is that for a while, just like a magical one. Everything he touched found a way to find a hole. Still hitting over 300, still having a very good season, but some of the hits, some of the times making contact, results have not been the same.
And now 3-1. And also Stephen Vogt, like tonight, hitting in the cleanup spot.
That's right.
That one gets past Kendrick, and Vogt has a base hit. That's hit number 4 for the A's. Just got it through.
So Chili Davis, the look on his face, a lot of work put in, of course, by Chili Davis with the hitters, a lot of preparation, but Stephen Vogt, 3-1 fastball, maybe even out of the strike zone, but aggressively going after it and found the hole between first and second. Seems like everything the A's do comes with 2 outs. They did have a leadoff walk with Moss. It was back in the 5th inning, then an E5, a couple of runners on, but 1 out, just couldn't do anything. Bases loaded in the 6th. Looking for the big hit. Didn't happen.
So the first pitch to Moss, and Moss had a good swing there. Bangs it off the advertising panels just to our left. Moss tonight a strikeout, a walk, and then he was hit by a pitch. He was hit in the back foot. Actually, the front of the foot. Toe area,
the hurt area.
That's the bullpen last night. 4 1/3 no-hit innings.
Get a smile on a pitching coach's face whenever you have numbers like that. And that's what Jared Weaver did the first 7. Alfredo Griffin, longtime first base coach for Mike Scioscia, former shortstop with the Athletics. Looks like he could still play.
Yeah. Doesn't look a whole lot different than he did when he was playing. Remember when he came up and he was like 18 years old?
That's right.
Weighed about 150 pounds. With the Indians, right?
Yeah.
Won a Gold Glove with the Athletics. Yeah. And he's been with Mike Scioscia from day one.
Yeah. Well, I was with him in L.A. Played down there. Of course, followed him as his coach.
Well, the Angels trying to make the postseason, and they've gone 4 straight years without making the postseason, which is still hard to believe. Go back to 2009 when they won the division. They won it in 08 and 2009. Little pop up, and that'll do it. So a 2-out hit for Vogt. Nothing else for the A's. Bottom of the 8th coming up. Jesse Chavez coming in. It's 4-0 Angels.
Is brought to you by Xfinity, home of the most live sports, and by Toyota, #1 in MPG, durability, and resale value. Toyota, let's go places.
All right, let's check out our game summary brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. 0-4-2 for the Athletics, 4-7-1 for the Angels. 2 in the 5th, 1 in the 6th, 1 in the 7th for the Angels. They've hit a couple of home runs. Iannetta and Pujols have each homered. So it's the bottom of the 8th inning. A's go back to the bullpen as Jesse Chavez comes in. After Scribner throws 1 inning and gives up the home run to Albert Pujols. So when it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up. Your oil change, tune-up, and repair expert. So Chavez takes over. He'll face Kendrick, Freese, and Ibar here in the bottom of the 8th. Kendrick tonight is 0 for 3. Reached on an error in the 6th inning. That was that call that was originally ruled a hit and then changed to an error.
It's a very hard hit ball, which is a little surprising that it would be changed.
Oh, 2. Nationals still leading the Mariners 7-2. That game now in the 9th inning. Nationals have hit 6 home runs tonight. 4 of them against Felix Hernandez, and then a couple off the bullpen. Drive toward right center, but Gentry was shaded that way, and he makes the catch.
Labor Day sales, save 50% to get MLB.com Advanced Premium features for only $4.99. Follow every A's game with live look-ins, replay reviews, live radio broadcasts, the MLB.TV game of the day, and more. Download in the App Store. Sale ends soon. Visit athletics.com today. Less than $5 will get you a lot of baseball.
Here's Freese, who takes a strike on the inside corner. Freese 0 for 3, got on base on the Sogard error. Right in the outside corner, good pitch by Jesse Chavez. And there is the Angels closer, Houston Street.
One inning work last night for Street. Not a lot of pitches in the extra inning game. Not surprised to see him up again.
Just missed outside, but a pretty good pitch by Chavez. Well, the Angels used 5 pitchers last night, but none for more than 1 inning.
Well, Mike Scioscia said in Oakland when Garrett Richards went down, said he feels very strongly about his bullpen. He said, if I can get a starter, go 4 or 5 innings, turn it over to the bullpen. And of course, that starter would be someone they're waiting until very late, maybe maybe after the game tonight, we'll decide who's going to pitch tomorrow night.
Haven't heard.
No.
Right. Hey, time to log on to CSNCalifornia.com. Decide the player of the game. Your vote counts. The winner will be revealed during A's postgame live. Follow the action on the diamond like never before with enhanced Bloomberg stats and more. A's in-game live on CSNCalifornia.com. Log on now and vote. Well, there's a lot of talk about a left-hander in Double-A.
Yep.
Roth, I believe his name is. And again, it's just what we've all been reading, the same thing.
I think Roth is on a 40-man roster, whereas Wolf is not.
Yeah, that's right.
Wolf is not. They'd have to find a spot if that's the case. But, you know, they said they were going to wait as late as possible even after this game, and who knows? If they hang on to win this game, they'd have a 3-game lead. Maybe start somebody in the bullpen.
Who knows? Little flip job down the left field line, and nice play by Sam Fuld, running it down. Side retired. 3 up, 3 down inning. A lot of work to do for the A's as we head to the ninth. They trail 4-0.
To play the game, Jared Weaver. He pitched well Sunday. He pitched better tonight. Sneaky fastball, change up to Ross. Had a 9-0 lead last Sunday. Gave up 3 runs. Tonight, 3-0 lead early. Made the pitches at the right time to get the big outs, and the A's could do nothing against the Dream Weaver, as they call him here in Anaheim. So Weaver 7 innings, 3 hits, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts, and 104 pitches. 12 fly ball outs. Pretty good outing for the veteran right-hander.
And Joe Smith pitched the 8th inning, and now it's Houston Street here in the 9th. When it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up, your oil change, tune-up, and repair experts. So Street comes in, again, as Ray said, pitched last night, but through just 12 pitches. So I guess when you're playing the team that's right behind you in the standings, you don't mess around.
Yeah.
You got a 4-0 lead, you get your closer in there, and that is what Mike Scioscia is doing. As Street to face Reddick, Norris, and Callaspo here in the 9th. The A's down to their final 3 outs. They have 4 hits in the game. They've had a couple of chances to score. They're 0 for 5 with runners in scoring position tonight. Reddick 0 for 3. And that one's driven toward right center, but Trout is back. He's over, and he's got it. And Reddick is 0 for 4. Seems like Ray, a little bit last night, and definitely noticing it tonight, some frustration coming from the A's hitters, which certainly understand why. You're getting shut down in a big series, but we haven't seen a lot of that this year. We've noticed it a little bit more lately.
Yeah. Well, and it happens this time of the year. And you know, I think one of the writers brought up something interesting, that the changes in the lineup, the changes in the team from the beginning of the season, and players in the lineup. Johnny Gomes coming back from the Red Sox with the A's in 2012. Ian Lester, Chris Samardzija, Hamill. So it's a little bit of a difference, but they've got a month to get things put back together. Try to do something. Samardzija goes tomorrow night. They have flip-flopped Samardzija and Kazmir. Kazmir will, instead of tomorrow night, will pitch on Sunday, and the explanation trying to split up the lefties between Lester and Kazmir. It's going to be Samardzija, Kazmir, and then I guess to be determined on Monday in the matinee at the Coliseum against the Mariners.
And for the Mariners, I know Iwakuma's pitching Sunday, so he obviously will not pitch. I believe Chris Young is pitching tomorrow, so those are probably the 2 guys the A's will not see, Young and Iwakuma. Probably see the young left-hander, Paxton. And Norris just got a piece of it. That slider from Houston Street, he's been throwing that pitch from day one. Norris tonight, a walk. He reached on an air, and he bounced back to the pitcher, so he's 0 for 2. There's that breaking ball again. Drops low. Good take by Norris. 2-2 the count, with Callaspo waiting in the on-deck circle. We'll be with you an hour earlier tomorrow. It's a 6:05 first pitch. 5:30 A's pregame live. Norris in the hole. Ibar has it. Throws across his body, but not in time. So Norris hustling all the way. He's got a 1-out hit. Ibar did just about everything he could. He made a nice play, but Norris beat it out.
Well, not often you see a catcher got an infield hit, but that's what happened, and it was that close. Bang, bang, and that is Will Little making the call at first base. But Norris, watch him run through the bag. Now, this is something we've been seeing where guys have been jumping to the bag, and Derek Norris stayed low and ran through the bag, keeping the foot low to the ground, able to touch the bag quickly and get himself an infield hit.
So the A's have a base runner. They need some more. Here's Callaspo with Sogard to follow. Well, speaking of Monday, Ray, it's possible Jed Lowry could be back on Monday. He had his bags packed today, and he was headed to Sacramento.
And he's going to play, and the difference with he and Fryman and Pomerantz, those two option to Beloit. Jed Lowry can come back anytime. He's on the disabled list. He's out on rehab.
Yeah, there you go.
There's a difference in that. So we wish him well. Gets him at bats. So he left today, so he could play tomorrow.
Well, on Sunday is what it sounds like. And then if he feels good, he'll be back with the A's on Monday. So that's good news if it works out that way. So 2 away, and here's Sogard.
And the nice thing, if there's a nice thing, you don't have to worry about making a roster spot, because on Monday you can increase the roster to 40.
Right. First pitch to Sogard as Norris takes off, pitches a strike. It's going to be defensive indifference for Norris as he gets to second base.
Reliever hates this because he gets to second base. Now when base hit happens off Sogard, it's an earned run for Street.
That's true. They let him go to second.
Yeah. So Street has to bear down a little bit more to prevent a base hit.
1-1 the count. Sogard has hit into a double play. He has grounded out. And he had that bunt single where he was called safe. They reviewed the call and inconclusive, and he remained safe with the bunt single. Street's ready. Norris with his leadoff second. Fouled straight back, so now the A's are down to their final strike. So the crowd tonight, 41,177. All get to their feet as the Angels are 1 out away from taking the first 2 games of this big series. So Street's ready, and here's the 1-2 pitch to Sogard. And it's outside, looked like a changeup. Street with the Rockies, and then the Padres. Now the Angels. 2-2 pitch is hit down the right field line into the corner. Calhoun's going to have just enough room. He makes the catch, and that's the ball game. So the A's are shut out for the 7th time this year, and the standings now look like that. The Angels now have a 3-game lead over the Athletics in the West, and for the A's and the Angels, 28 games left to play. So Angels win it tonight in shutout fashion. Iannetta a home run, Pujols a home run. Weaver gets his 15th win, and John Lester takes the loss. He is now 13-9. Final score tonight, it's the Angels 4, and it's the Athletics nothing. You've been watching Oakland A's baseball on Comcast Sportsnet California. Don't go away. A's postgame live with Brody and Britt will start right after this break.